Welcome inside to another edition of Alex Garrett Podcasting. I'm literally podcasting laying down in my bed right now. First of all, because my phone has the app and I can podcast from anywhere I want. So why not from my own comfortable bed? Because you know what the Serta sheep are telling us? The Serta sheep are telling us we're getting bad sleep. I'm not delirious. Don't worry. It's all part of the bit. But I'm serious. Serta, the bedding company, has released this incredible study that shows that we as a nation... Are you ready for this one? 30 billion hours of sleep since March. Serta Simmons Bedding went on to describe it. 139 million Americans admit that the pandemic has caused them to become a night owl and stay up later than they used to. Anxiety is the number one reason Americans are losing sleep since the pandemic. How anxious are you, by the way? And as I've said before, it's not easy for me to feel it. But when I say it, I start to feel it again. Be anxious for nothing. That's what our good Lord commands us to do, is be anxious for nothing. And I know it's human nature to be. And it's human nature for me to be anxious too. But we have to keep relying on that and hoping and praying that we can lose our anxiety little by little. It doesn't happen overnight. More than 1 in 2 Americans admit they are spending more time in their beds this year. But that doesn't mean they're getting more sleep. I mean, scrolling is a huge thing. I mean, we really can't put this thing down, can we, in our bed? I'm not putting it down. I'm literally talking to you from my bed right now. So I guess it just makes sense that we can't put this damn phone down in our bed. They're leading to why we're not getting more sleep. FOMO, fear of missing out, I am sure, has a lot to do with this. By the way, did you go to a New Year's Eve party, or did you keep it safe? Did you miss going to those great parties on New Year's Eve? What was your New Year's Eve like? alexginnyc@gmail.com. alexginnyc@gmail.com. Close to a quarter of Americans admit to getting less sleep because nighttime is the only time they truly have to themselves. That actually makes sense. 55% of Americans feel they are getting more restless sleep each night because of the pandemic. And as I said, 1 of 3 Americans are saying that they're spending more time on social media when they should be sleeping. Serta Bedding, after seeing this study, and this is all at iHeartRadioDaily.com. iHeartRadio doesn't just do music. It does podcasts. It does news. They have news updates, guys. iHeartRadio, where we all know them for the music, but they do updates for people like this. Fascinating stuff. They say the first thing we need to do if we're sleepless is pay attention to stimuli. By the way, in case I wasn't clear enough at the beginning, hours of sleep lost in 2020. Thank God we're in 2021. I hope that helps a little bit. But a change of the calendar doesn't exactly, it might be good psychologically, but it doesn't result in change unless we make it result in change for the new year. This is great. So Serta says, put on do not disturb mode. Limit late night eating. Avoid eating right before bed. Now, I had some iced coffee, so I'm a little bit jacked up on that caffeine, and that's okay. It's Saturday night. It's the second day of the year. I'm finally blowing off steam. I'm finding my creative vein here to talk to you on this podcast. Alex Garrett Podcasting. It's all good. Avoid eating at night. That's a great tip for myself. And those who have acid reflux, by the way, highly recommend not eating right before bed. Now, this is interesting. We all say the New Year's resolution is going to include exercise. But Serta Simmons is saying, well, limit exercise right before bed, as it raises the core temperature and heart rate, which is counterproductive to what our sleep regulation system is trying to do. By the way, I do believe we all try by just staying awake a little longer. Do you ever feel that? Like we're just fighting going to close our eyes because we just want to stay up a little bit longer. We don't know why, but we're doing it. Oh. So those are some interesting tips. Continue, by the way. They say setting your thermostat could help you find sleep because if you do it 90 minutes before bed. A cooler bedroom can help the body cool down and allow you to easily fall asleep. Circulating bedroom air. That's interesting because we have the heat on. I never like to conflict heat and air, but they're saying, yeah, circulate a little air in the room and you can fall asleep. Interesting. How many of you out there have humidifiers, by the way? Does that help you go to sleep? Because I find humidifiers are very relaxing for some, and it helps people get to sleep. Maybe you have one in your own house or apartment and utilize it. And they just talk about air purification. So, I shouldn't be astounded. It's worrisome. We should help make America sleep easy again. Make America sleep easy again in this year. The calendar flipped. We're supposed to get rid of 2020. We're supposed to leave the sad you in 2020, right? Doesn't happen easily. Because sometimes, I wouldn't say New Year's is fake news, but I would say we woke up to reality that 1 year sometimes isn't a change of the year, sometimes is like a dupe. We all thought the Roaring 20s was going to be that, roaring. Oh, it roared all right. Roared with a pandemic unexpectedly. Roared with violence. Roared with division. But this is the year we can change that and turn it around. It takes every one of us, by the way. It takes the CEO. It takes you and I. It takes everyone who's been put on a level playing field. Let me say that again. Everyone has been put on a level playing field because of the virus. No one wants to get sick. We are more than what our title says. We are human beings. We are flesh. We have blood that bleeds. And everyone, from the 1% to the unfortunately, impoverished, we all are on this playing field of let's not get sick. Testing measures are different. I understand that. But the fact that God has put us all on this playing field to take care of ourselves and then, in effect, take care of each other is very important. It's very noticeable. And I feel like it's kind of concrete. We concretely believe that, or we should concretely believe, that God has us entering 2021 on a playing field of fighting this virus together. Either you get on that level or you don't. But it's there for you, thanks to Him, to fight this virus. They all say the immune system, sleep is great for it. I agree. I just am trying to figure out ways that these companies can provide that. Not companies, but these leaders, these people that are making businesses worry while they're ringing in the new year, Times Square. These leaders that say, yeah, you can have an indoor concert on New Year's Eve. We'll be fine with that, but you can't open up local business. How do we fix that here in 2021? I think the legal system. I think sleep. I don't think anybody will ever get a good night's sleep again because of this. What 2020 did was it traumatized us to the point where people weren't even hopeful heading into the new year. I've never seen that before. But there were people who were like thinking this is going to be the same kind of year, and they were skeptical. I mean, how many years did we go where we literally rang down the ball and it was emotional and we're going to a new year? This year, we were all happy, but we were all hesitant at the same time. And we shouldn't be fearful of it. We should be excited that New Year's here. But January 2nd, 2021 does sadly bring some anxieties that December 31st, 2020 brought. It will take time to get over that. It will take time for the city to heal. Patience will help us sleep too. I think if we have enough patience in our bodies to know that this is temporary, believe this is temporary, make it temporary, speak into existence the temporary nature of this. Stop saying, oh, we're going to be forever locked down. That's not helping anybody. Start saying, we are looking at ways to keep you open, America. That'll help people get to sleep. $30 billion hours wasted. Or maybe not, I don't know. But 30 billion hours, I could have been people asleep in the middle of the night, just totally fried, gone, out the window since March. It is funny, I used to sleep like, I could sleep like a log most times. But even I tend to have these these fits of not sleeping. And they are irreparable damage in a way. That if you get a good night's sleep the next night, could they be repaired? Sure. As I was telling a friend recently, I said, look, I have to not fall asleep the moment my head hits the pillow, because if I do, I know I'm not going to get the one task needed. And I'm not saying everyone does this, but for me, it's a medical thing I have to do before I go to bed. If I don't do it, I know I've set my body back a little bit more than sleep, a lack of sleep does. You add the two together, it's a disaster. And so yes, hitting the pillow is a glorious thing these days. It's what we do when we hit the pillow. Are we sleeping? Are we talking? Are we even, flirting with someone? That maybe, I don't know. How are we managing that time? That our time. Me time, I guess, is what people feel they have when they're resting at night. Not to get too personal, but I'm literally stretched out on my bed right now, relaxing, talking to you on this podcast. It's a beautiful thing. And maybe I should just get to sleep too. But I had to share this study by Serta Simmons. Because maybe it's a wake-up call we all could use to get sleep. To boost our immune and get the F to sleep. New York, America, other countries. And I'll leave you with a positive, okay? I think that's the other problem. My mom always says, don't go to sleep having a negative image in your mind. How many of you turn on the TV, it's negativity across the board? and then you can't sleep. That's driving the anxiety, right? Even on their phone. Oh, look at this update. I can't sleep now. That is reality. So why don't you, in your own lives, think of a positive thing that happened today. And lead that positivity into your soul, your heart. It will calm you. God only wants positives for you. So here's a positive here in New York that I think you'll really enjoy. There was traffic on 6th Avenue outside Radio City. Let me tell you, folks, I have seen the progression of the city's decline and hopefully rebirth. I have seen an empty 6th Avenue in the middle of August. I've seen an empty 3rd Avenue, 2nd Avenue, like people aren't here. But I've also seen some traffic points. And while we hate traffic, I think just the visual of it being busy helps us think New York City is not entirely dead. We just got to wake our leaders up. Stop ringing in the new year with nobody there in Times Square, Mayor Bill. Although, thank God our healthcare workers were there. That was great. But nobody else could be there. But there he was. Let's talk these leaders into actually doing something for us. And we can bring more positives back into the city. And we can get more sleep because of those positives. So I'm kind of surprised Serta didn't mention this, but I will. To reduce the hours of sleepless nights, get the negativity out of your head. If you have to write your thoughts or even podcast your thoughts before you go to bed, that's great too. But don't let whatever's in your mind weighing you down stay there. It will keep you up all night. I was wondering if I should just go over to my computer and do this, but no, I said I'm going to do this from my bed. It kind of feels more natural. Imagine that shit. Well, I'm Alex Garrett. I hope your new year is off to a better, hopeful start, and we'll have more hopeful days ahead. But let's reduce the number of sleepless nights and number of sleepless hours in ourselves, and then encourage others, your family, your friends, to get to bed too. It's going to help change us. Because the less we worry, the less anxious we are, the more we know He's in command and control of what we have to do. And I love saying He. I really do. Well, God bless you. Happy New Year. AlexGinNYC@gmail.com or AlexGinNYC.net. Take care, and we'll see you soon enough.